What is up, geometry? This is some review over 11.3. Seem to be having a little bit of problems with it, so I thought we'd do some review to hopefully kind of get this so you understand a little bit better. Number 5 and 6 are off of your worksheet that you should have right now. So let's go ahead and see if we can solve this. Number 5, 1 through 5 actually are a little bit easier because they give you two pieces of information. They give you the apothem and a side length, which is helpful because, as we remember, the area of a regular polygon like this is equal to 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. So this 8.3 is the apothem, and we can find the perimeter by counting how many sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So 5 times a side length, which is 12. So this comes out to be 60. So the area here for number 5 is going to be 1/2 times 8.3 times 60. Plugging that in a calculator, we get 249. Since this is area, we're going to call it units squared. Okay, so 1 through 5 are like that. You should be able to get through those without too much of a headache. Now, 6, 7, 8, they just give you the apothem. Okay, since they just give you the apothem, we have to find a side length in order to be able to find the area of this. So we can kind of set this up. We said the area is equal to 1/2 the apothem, which is 15, but I still have to find that last piece, the perimeter. So let's see if we can look at this triangle right here. I'll go ahead and pull it out like this. This is a right angle. Since this has 6 sides, I know an angle like this angle right here, would be 360 divided by 6, right? A whole circle divided by how many sides there are. 360 divided by 6 is 60 degrees. So this one right here is 60 degrees. And since this angle right here is half of that, right? It's half of that angle. This one here is going to be 30 degrees. So kind of two ways to think about this. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And this length right here is 15. So we could either use special right triangles or we can use a trig function. So let's look at this one. Over here is going to be the opposite. Over here is the adjacent. Over here is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to look at my SOHCAHTOA. I need something. I'm needing this length here because that's a piece of my outside edge. I need this length. And I have this length, so I need the opposite and I have the adjacent. So which one uses opposite and adjacent? Tangent does. So I'll say tangent of 30 is equal to opposite, I'll call that x, over adjacent, 15. So to solve for x is being divided by 15, so I will then multiply it by 15. So that x is going to equal to 15 times tangent of 30, which would be 15 times this really long decimal, 0.5773550. Keep going on for a while. I'm just going to say times 15 here on my calculator. And I'm going to get that length of x to equal to 8.66025. We'll just run it to 2 decimal places, so 8.66. So this length right here is this length. So that's almost what we're looking for because I need this whole green length. But this blue length is half of the green length. So if I take that 8.66 and multiply it by 2, I get 17.32. So each of these sides here is 17.32. Now I can go back to finding my perimeter. My perimeter is going to be 6 times 17.32 times 6 on my calculator, which is equal to 103.92. And now I can plug that in right up here. 103.92. And then I can calculate my area. So that 103.92, I'm going to say times 15. And then divide that by 2. And my area comes out to be 779.4 units squared. All right, let's do a few more here. These are also a little bit different. I think it is 9, 10, and 11 have ones that just give you a side, and 12, 13, and 14 just give you a radius of the regular polygon. So that should get you all the different ways we can solve these. So here, let's look at this number 11. Right here is the center. If we draw this, we know that the angle in there is going to be 60 degrees because there's 6 sides, and so I just said 360 divided by 6 gives me that 60 degrees. If I want to look at this triangle here, this is a right triangle, I'll pull that out right here so we can just draw a little bit bigger. That angle right there is going to be 30. This is a right angle, and since this whole length is 8, half of that is going to be the length of this little section here. So in our case, 4. So what we need, we can find the perimeter, right? Our perimeter is going to be 6 times 8, which is 48. But for our formula now, we need the apothem, which is this piece right here. I'll call it x. Or I guess since it's the apothem, we can just call it a. So we're looking at this angle. Over here is the opposite. Over here is the adjacent. So same thing, tangent. I'm going to say tangent of 30 degrees is equal to the opposite over the apothem, or the adjacent side. Now notice now my variable's on the bottom, so I have to multiply both sides by a. Those reduce, multiply by a, so I end up with a times tangent of 30 is equal to 4. Then to solve for a, I'm going to divide by the tangent of 30. So the apothem is going to be 4 over the tangent of 30. 4 divided by tangent of 30. Plugging in the calculator, I get 6.93. So here's my apothem. So now I can come back and find my area now. 1/2 times the apothem, 6.93, times my perimeter, which is 48. Plug all that in my calculator, and I get 166.32 units squared. Alright, one last one here for us. Same thing now, I need the apothem and I need a side length. So to do that, I'm going to look here at this triangle. That's a right angle. I'm going to say 360 divided by 4. That'd give me this angle, which is 90, which means this angle up here is going to be half of that, or 45. So 45, 45, 90 triangle. You can use special right triangles if you want. This length is 9. Let's find the apothem here. So I have this angle, this is the opposite, this is the adjacent, and this is the hypotenuse. SOHCAHTOA tells us that I am looking for the adjacent and I have the hypotenuse, so I'm going to want cosine of 45 is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is 9. So that apothem that I'm looking for is going to be 9 times cosine of 45. Plugging that in my calculator, I get 6.36. So that's my apothem. And then the cool thing is that notice, since it's a 45-45, this length and this length will be the same. So the side length is going to equal to 2 times that 6.36, or 12.72. Brings us then to our perimeter, which would be 4 times that 12.72. Right, because we have 4 sides of our square here. So I'm going to say times 4. My perimeter is equal to 50.88. And then last but not least, for my area, I'm going to say 1/2 the apothem, which we found to be 6.36, times our perimeter, which is 50.88. And that will give us 161.7984. But they asked us to round, so 161.80 units squared. All right, good luck. Hopefully you can figure out the rest of them from these ones.